Yo, my boy Bakugo looking fresh without wearing his mask while wearing his hero costume. Well, Macadamia Chapter 318 has come out. And while this chapter had a lot to offer after that mind-boggling chapter last week, and lately the My Academia manga has been killing it lately, so this chapter did not disappoint at all. So with that being said, I'll go over this chapter and what my thoughts on it while reviewing it. Now, chapter starts off with number 1 hero Endeavor reaching out to Deku through a phone, asking Deku to take a break from his duties as more heroes from overseas will help them in Japan. However, despite his news, Deku tells Endeavor to not worry about him and that he needs to keep doing what he's doing on finding All For One, to not give the villains any time to prepare. Deku hung up and then we see the other vestiges popping out with Deku. They ask Deku to relax since his wounds haven't healed and not to overdo it. Deku, however, brushes this off. After that, all the vestiges gather around within the quirk One For All. They discuss the situation about Deku straining himself. One of the vestiges, the second user of One For All, said that they shouldn't stop Deku and disrupt the situation he's dealing with. Following that, knowing that's what wielding the quirk One For All and his wills, and he believes there's something they all could do to protect Deku. Now, after that, Gary transitions to a rundown city and Deku in the center of attention, protecting the civilians from villains coming after them. While doing his duty, you can see one of the people that Deku was protecting was frightened by the appearance of Deku, who doesn't resemble a hero, just like Stain said in the last chapter. He was so scared, in fact, he thought Deku was One For All's subordinate, as he possessed multiple quirks, just like All For One. Deku assures him that's not the case, and so the boy says thanks and runs off. After that confrontation, Deku's thoughts are scattered in his mind that he doesn't want to trouble anyone, wonders what All For One's planning, leading to Sashiraki and the League of Villains. Deku tells himself he needs to master One For All so people won't live in fear, and we see Deku has been busy traveling and confronting villains during his time alone. Deku recalls his mom, Gran Torino, All Might, Mr. Aizawa, Eri, and everyone from Class 1A, as he wants to smile with all of them who he cares about. While having these thoughts, Deku is brought back to reality as someone called him out, and we see it's an assassin sent by All For One from Tartarus prison who goes by Dictator. Deku goes into full calling acts the Dictator of All For One's whereabouts. The Dictator responds to that by sending Deku to control innocent civilians towards Deku over their will. As the 4 civilians charge straight at Deku, Deku knows the Dictator court could be lifted if the victims receive a shock or be knocked out. But of course the assassin knows that and came prepared by using the civilians as shields. Also, with Deku being worn down, unable to use some set of quirks to help the civilians to regain their free will back. As everybody are smothering Deku from all different directions as they apologize to Deku, they can't do nothing about it, and Deku's awareness and inside his thoughts, he says he'll get them out of this and think of a solution. However, Deku's situation isn't getting better as he's being bodied by many civilians and being unable to defend himself as Deku was tired himself. But then, as all hope may be lost, all of a sudden from outside the crowd, Bakugo pops out from above, saying Bastard uses his AP shot move from high above that took down the Dictator with a small explosive attack to his head. And then we see the second user, One For All, in a panel saying the same words to the other vestiges about Deku, that if there's something they could do to protect Deku. And we see from Deku's point of view, he just witnessed what Bakugo just did. And we see Bakugo is in his hero costume, but this time without his hero mask that he will usually wear with his outfit. And Bakugo notices it's Deku as he says, "I found guys," as the manga chapter ends there. Alright, so before I go over what I think about it, let me just say that the next chapter and episode of Macadamia will take a break this upcoming weekend, so that's a strategy of itself. So that being said, my review of the new episode of Macadamia that came out will come out soon eventually, so stay tuned for that. Now on to the chapter. While Deku looks so tired and has been working himself to the bone, Deku has been focusing on a league of villains and All For One as well as the people he left behind. This chapter opens up Deku's work as people start to see him as not much different from All For One's subordinates. And I wouldn't blame them for thinking otherwise. Look at Deku. His clothes are worn and shredded, and a hero mask just makes him look like a villain and not someone with good intention. And just as Stain said in the last chapter, saying Deku doesn't look like a hero at all. And this is coming from the guy who called Deku worthy as a hero before. And with Deku using his black whip and messy costume out here looking like Venom from Marvel. Also, we know that after Deku's adventures, one of the familiar faces has come back to the series and is Bakugo. And as we saw, he has found Deku somehow probably through All Might or probably the Pro Heroes. And this could mean in next chapter or so, we could see the return of more students and Deku's friends from Class 1A. If possible, I would say Todoroki could be the next one to appear in the manga since last chapter. Shoto tried to contact his dad Endeavor, but Endeavor didn't want to contact him just yet. And even so, the next chapter isn't coming this upcoming week, but a week after that. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give this video a like. And if you want to consider subscribing to my channel for more My Academia manga content reviews. And see y'all next time in my next video. Peace.